Do you cold open? Do you know how hard it is for me right
Hmm.
now? So you welcome everyone to the Wrong Button podcast, the show where we talk all things nerd, most things video games. And
Hmm.
Mark has given me he was like, the first taste is free. Go watch the first couple episodes of One Piece. If you don't like it, that's okay. Knowing exactly what's going to happen, you're become like a fiending junkie. Um,
Yep.
Sabody Archipelago is
Yep.
is now complete. It is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just another
I
little arc in the silly pirate anime.
I I cannot imagine watching this anime like week to week like you do. I know that they're going to be fine, right? I've seen Gear 5 Luffy. A lot of other things have been like kind of spoiled for me through
Yeah.
just like
Cultural
it's proliferated
osmosis.
to my world.
Yeah.
But I finished this and I was like, "Oh my god, Luffy's dead. They're all dead. The show's over. No one knows what the One Piece is." Um
Time
and
for the next generation. Time for Bofi's adventure.
maybe he'll get further than his dad did. I don't
Yep.
know. Um, it is it this anime, while it is trying so hard to usurp Trigun, and the problem is
It's not
the
going down
prob
without a fight.
it's not. But the thing is, like it there's only one little piece that I give Trigun over it.
Hmm.
Other than like being like one of my gateway animes and Johnny Young Bosch, like I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if Johnny Young Bosch just started voicing Luffy, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Maybe you can have it now, One Piece. Um, but have you watched any Trigun at all?
I watched a bit of the original Trigun, and I do have like the big old deluxe version of the manga for Trigun.
Yeah, you're like me. The
So,
fifth one's coming out in like 2 weeks too.
but
Um,
right, yeah,
there's
I've seen a
it.
bit of Trigun. I watched the dub because I know you said Johnny Young Bosch is your man, the man of your dreams,
It
especially in
is
Trigun.
the they do a literal translation in Trigun, so there are
Hmm.
times where if you watch it in the sub, like
Hmm.
things don't make as much sense because you're like that would never actually work.
Right.
Whereas if you watch it dubbed, they kind of take the colloquialism and run with it. But
Hmm.
that being said, there's one sequence, and I'm gonna spoil this 30-plus-year-old anime where
Okay.
Vash the Stampede goes back to a town to get his weapon worked on.
Hmm.
And he leaves it with a drunk who's supposed to be this great weaponsmith, and it has this whole backstory for him. And then, not having
Oh.
his weapon, he walks out to a quick draw. And
Ooh.
there's a person freaking out. And he knows that Vash doesn't have his gun. And he goes, "Why are you doing this?" And Vash the Stampede goes, "Simply because the situation is not equal." And to me,
Oh.
it's like, it's the pinnacle of you do the right thing
Hmm.
because that is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And Luffy is like, "You're my friend, of course I would do this thing for you,
Hmm.
of course." Like there's like, goes to Nami, puts the straw hat on her head in the third arc, or the still in the first season, and
Hmm.
after telling her, "Don't touch this is my treasure," goes, "Hold on to my treasure for me.
Yeah.
It'll
It's
keep you safe."
powerful.
And the only reason there's a difference there is because one is, "Hey, I'm doing the right thing because that's the right thing," and the other one is, "I'm doing the right thing because you're my friend." It's
Hmm.
super arbitrary, and I don't know where I'm drawing the line, but
Yeah.
that's that's the scene that made me fall in love with Vash the Stampede, and like a
Hmm.
the hero who just does the right thing because it's the right thing.
Right. I think I don't know. I think that like One Piece does get those moments, both like stuff that you've already seen. Like I would also argue that I Want to Live is also like the big one that
Equally as
like
good.
kind yeah. I also think that like Luffy recruiting Chopper is also like a really powerful one because he knows that like Chopper basically kind of needs to come with the Straw Hat. Same with Frankie. it's just God, I love One Piece, and I know Trigun is also really good, and I do gotta like read and watch and completely like bathe myself in Trigun. So I will have to like get like the fuck on that right after I'm done with G Gundam.
I'm sitting here going like, hey, we're gonna do these two. I'm gonna talk to you about this really powerful anime for me. You're gonna get me into this really powerful anime for you, and I'm gonna be like, hey, for the kids, I need you to watch the schlock of Gundam.
I wouldn't call G Gundam schlock. I don't know like what the dub like changed, if it's like a complete bastardization or something, but like at the very least, kind of spoiling the upcoming like G Gundam episode that we're gonna have to do because of the charity incentive. Which thank you for that. I enjoy G Gundam a lot.
It is a lot of fun, but you can also just tell that the creator of that went, hey, do you like Dragon Ball Z? And everyone's like, yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
What if we did that but with robots? And everyone's like,
that. I get that, and also a bit of JoJo. I know that's like the most JoJo thing of me to say, but it's true.
No.
I absolutely get Stardust Crusaders vibes. I'm sorry.
You can, yeah, like, come on. When you've met Jean, the French pilot, right? Or Jean, I think it is the French pilot. George, thank you.
Sand.
Yes. Yeah. Come on. He is. Do you not understand his JoJo reference?
I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be like Kakyoin, right?
Kakyoin?
He kind of reminds me of Kakyoin.
What's that from?
That's JoJo Part 3.
I haven't. I need to watch all the JoJos.
He is the guy who likes Jotaro's mom, and also he tags along for Part 3, and he has Hierophant Green as his stand.
I know exactly who we're talking about now. You said his mom, and I was like, okay, I know where we're at. But this is not a JoJo or a Gundam or a Trigun podcast. We are here to talk about Sabody Archipelago.
Yep. At least that's how I'm sure it is pronounced.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of different things for it. I'm still gonna say that my whole thing of like, hey, it goes fun pirate arc, political arc, fun pirate arc, political arc, fun pirate arc. I still think that's gonna hold up. Understanding that the next one is like the Amazon Lily arc, and if I had to take a guess, it's gonna draw from the Odyssey a lot.
Okay.
But this arc starting, because I don't want to glaze over the beginning, but at the same time, this arc ends so hard that I'm like, you know the beginning of the arc? Okay, it's cool. Fuck that noise. The arc starting with oh god, what was the original name of the pirate group?
The Arlong Pirates?
No.
Or the Roger Pirates.
Not the Roger Pilots. So starting at the beginning of the arc, the Straw Hats meet a mermaid. They rescue her.
Yeah.
And then Kami gets rescued. And then you learn that her uncle is Hachi, who is the octopus fishman from the Arlong Pirates.
Yeah.
And you learn they're getting hunted by... Is it it's the handsome pirates? It's the flying fish raiders.
So. Yeah,
it's the flying fish raiders. And they have this captain, and I love this fact. They set up they're talking about how great they are, and it looks like it's the fucking Claw from Inspector Gadget. Like we only see him over his shoulder. You only see the one arm.
Hell, I'm pretty sure he's like got a helmet on that covers his entire head. Like when he's first introduced,
he has a helmet
like he's a big, intimidating guy.
So I'm throwing this out there. I thought he was going to be Crocodile.
Oh,
because of how ruthless they are, human trafficking, like all the horribleness. I was like, oh fuck, Crocodile's making his return here.
Nope.
And
Instead, you
then
got a way better answer.
And we got the actual portrait of Sanji.
Yep.
As a character.
Because, like, for those who are not keeping up with this, there has been a joke that's kind of been ongoing since Enislani that Sanji's wanted poster doesn't have an actual picture of him like everybody else. It's just, like, an artist interpretation of him, but it looks ugly as shit. So it's like, it looks nothing like Sanji. But in this arc, we get the person who it actually looks like, just by coincidence.
And I love the fact that, like, to like set this up, I think, what is it, Robin and Robin and Nico, the same person. Robin and Nami get theirs updated because someone's like, hey, I'm from a famous fashion magazine. Can we take pictures of you two? You're gorgeous. And they're like, bet. And that's how they get their pictures.
Yeah. Which is why there's, like, have them, like, posing all sexily.
I love the fact that gets sent back to Nami's hometown, and the pinwheel guy is constantly like, "Stop looking at it. This is dirty and wrong." It's like my daughter,
and like one of the bars has like her picture like all blown up.
Yes. And then poor Sanji is just this. It looks like somebody who described a caricature art piece to someone in Japan, but never showed them that, and then gave them a person's face and now make a caricature of this. And Japan's like, sure, I guess. Or Oda's like, sure, I guess I'll do that. And we get Sanji. And then you learn he exists.
Yep. It's the dumbest answer, but the funniest answer. And I fucking love it. Honestly, probably the funniest thing Oda has ever done.
It was quite literally like when like it happens, because I think Luffy's the one who like knocks the helmet off of him and finds him first, and Sanji's like, who is this guy? And he's like, don't do it, Sanji, just walk away. Like Luffy's like, we're not gonna go through this, we're okay, we can.
And there's like an entire few minutes like in the anime, I'm pretty sure, dedicated to just being like, Sanji, you can step down, you don't need to like get involved here, we can handle this peacefully, we promise. Especially because like early on, like before the helmet gets knocked off, basically Duval is the guy's name, he says like, Sanji, I need to pay back from what you took from me. And everyone's just like, Sanji, do you know this guy? And he's just like, fucking no. Who is this guy?
I'm gonna throw this out there. I went back and started like going on top of the like the wiki, going like, okay, when Sanji got introduced here, oh, maybe it's this guy. And I was like, well, the only other person that could be would really be like that, because everyone's talking about how big and scary he is. Hachi and Kami are going like, no, he's this guy is terrifying, like you have no idea. And before that, like Arlong, like Hachin being with Arlong and how like brutal Arlong was, I was like, oh fuck, the only person that would make sense now would be like if Crocodile came back, because Kami went to the moon to find the land of forever birth, and I was like, Moria, he was like, he needs to be out for at least a season before he makes a comeback.
Same with probably like CP9, right?
Yeah, CPI also, it wouldn't make sense. Like they still work for the government, and this doesn't feel like that. So the only thing it could be was Crocodile. Like, but I was like, I couldn't make the leap of what did Sanji do to Crocodile, and I went back and I watched a couple episodes, and then I started looking through it to like, I'm like, no, Sanji fought this person. Like, you know, it doesn't make sense, and then that got revealed, and I was like, you know, if I would have just watched.
Yeah, sometimes it's just not worth trying to like predict Oda, because he already knows like what the best answer is.
And I think the other portion of that is like I wasn't expecting the Arlong pirates to come back.
Right.
I was recently spoiled.
Mhm.
Well, no, that's later on in the episode. Because like another pirate comes back, and I know he's your favorite, and I'm just like, really, him? Like and now I'm like, okay, there's got to be more to this. And
Yeah.
I've also been getting spoiled on like some devil fruit things for like Egghead Island, I think it is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
we
we
get
can
a
get
lot of info about devil fruits on Egghead, but we'll get there when we get there.
um, but yeah, when you saw this, because you
Mhm.
have been watching this like coming up, how did it feel with Hachin coming back?
I was like, oh my god, that was kind of like an insane pull for Oda to do, because I feel like if you were to bring back anybody from the Arlong Pirates, it would absolutely just be Arlong himself, because it's like, oh yeah, bring back the old villain kind of thing that a lot of like anime does. But I kind of figured it kind of probably makes more sense for Hachin to come back. But I was like honestly like very surprised that like any of them were coming back at all, because I kind of figured, because like I feel like everybody does this with like a lot of anime, like especially shonen, where it's just like, okay, we beat our first major like climactic bad guy like of the series, and then we're just gonna like brush them kind of off, and we're not gonna like bring them back, so that way we can focus on like the newer villains that are a lot better basically, and like probably a lot more fan favorite, since like Crocodile is like one of the biggest like villains in One Piece. Even like now, he's still very popular, as opposed to like the Arlong Pirates, who are they got their fans, but it's nothing compared to like Crocodile essentially, or even like somebody like Enel or Rob Lucci. I think is even more popular. So it was like, oh, okay, kind of an insane pull. Not something I expected, but it's something that I welcome, because I know Oda at this point does like bringing back old characters and just like making sure his world still feels lived in, and not like just kind of bringing back somebody because they're popular. Like if their story arc has ended, then it stays ended, which I kind of appreciate.
I do think it is. I think it is really good that we don't get a okay, now Frieza's gold, now
Mm-hmm.
Frieza's black. It's just
Dio comes
like,
back again.
does Dio come back like 4 times?
Oh, a bunch.
Oh God, okay. Yeah, it's once more somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm glad they didn't do that. I also think Arlong wasn't redeemable,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Hotchin, I don't really like. He worked with the Arlong pirates. I
Yeah.
love the fact that he went to Zoro and was like, I'm sorry for the horrific things I did to you as like this swordsman, and Zoro's like, who were you? I don't remember you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really sorry.
It makes sense that the one that he really has to like work to apologize to is Nami, though. I am glad
And
that
he
like it wasn't just like a, oh, we're all like chill now, and it's like, no, you still did some pretty bad shit to Nami that you have to like
and
atone for.
I like that he when he's cooking, he's like the only person I care whose opinion is Nami's. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like. Thank you. I'm glad the rest of you all like it. Enjoy as much as you want. By the way, takoyaki, for those of you who haven't tried it, it's delicious. I
It
ate
is.
there's a Michelin star takoyaki restaurant in Okinawa.
Mm-hmm.
No, right outside of Dotonbori. I think that's not Okinawa. That is Osaka. Where the lady like gives it to you, goes, "Do you want the sauce or not?" That's it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's no frills, there's nothing else. She
Right.
makes, and it's so good.
Takoyaki is
The
really good.
Oh God, yeah, and it's only like $2 to $3 for 6 to 8 over there. So,
God damn.
um, I ate till it came out my ears, but he's like, all I care about is what Nami thinks, and I think he even acknowledges like, you never have to forgive me, but I would be so mad at myself if I didn't like constantly try to make it up to you. Yeah. And I think she even says, like, I don't forgive you for what you did. Like, you did horrible things to me. Mm-hmm. But the person that you are now is pretty good. And I want you to know this takoyaki is delicious. And I was like, that's a really good measured amount of healing for Nami to give him. Like, that is insane.
Yeah. Like, I like the fact that it's not just a complete, oh yeah, I forgive you. It's like, no, there's still like some wounds that still need to heal first before like I'm just completely chill with you.
And then of course gets kidnapped by the oh god, I hate, and they have so many names. I love that they make jokes on that at the end with like the lovely riders, the rosy life riders, the like but it's Sanji ends up like doing his what was it, like Champel thing and like kicking the guy in the face so much, so hard, and I'm gonna say so hot because he heats up his leg to do it, that he reconstructs his face into somebody who is absolutely gorgeous, but he can't wink and he can't smile yet because he hasn't learned how to do it.
Yeah. Just so... It is, like, extremely funny that, like, Sanji did end up doing him that kind of service, which I feel like Duvall should honestly just thank Sanji for, because I know he, like, does not like that at first, obviously. But it is funny, just, like, Sanji just being like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking rearrange your face so that way you don't look like the wanted poster. And also because I don't like the fact that you look like my ugly ass poster.
And I think the guy even said that he's like, I have been hunted because of this poster. And he's like, I was like he worked somewhere like, so like he was like a person who worked at like the equivalent of a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And the Marines are like, get down. And then, you know, the pirates and the pirate hunters are like, get down. He's like, but this isn't me. I don't know who this is.
I'm not even a pirate.
Yeah, it was really good. And I'm so glad. And then, you know, of course, they beat him. They changed their name to the Rosy Life Riders. Mm-hmm. And I think he takes on the name of like Handsome.
Yeah. Handsome Duval.
And yeah, it was Duval, whose face has become handsome, finds he expresses gratitude. And then they like, yeah, he's like, we're gonna be the Rosy Life Riders, and he takes on the name. He like, it's still Duval, but it, like he goes like, I'm handsome now, and like taps that with his everything, or like is like, this is who I'm gonna be, and blah 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 blah, and they go off to like do things,
right? Basically, kind of like a motor gang, where like maybe he was like gonna like finally try to pick up chicks or something. That's like what I think. Because, like, once you start looking like that, you can start having a bit of an ego with people.
I kind of want him to, like... Yeah, I want him to... I wanted Sanji to kind of, like, start toning it down a bit. Mm-hmm. And, like, him to be like, okay, well, now I'm handsome, so I'm going to be, like, as Sanji kicks him in the face and makes him prettier, then he's like, okay, I'm going to do that. And Sanji like also goes, here's my like horn dogness, go forth and propagate with the world. And Sanji's still, I don't know. Like, I feel like with Kami especially, because with Papag and Hachin, I was like, is she like 14?
I don't think she's underage. I'm pretty sure she is like an adult.
Okay.
I have to look it up.
As someone who just got back from Japan, there were a lot of times I could not tell if somebody was in their 30s or 16, and I was like, this is weird. Like, it was only the people who I'm like, okay, you're clearly a lot older than me, that I was like, oh, okay. But everybody else...
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Kami is 16, but I don't think, like, anybody really, like, knew because she never said she was.
Okay. And I know, like, this is made for a younger crowd. Like, if I was 17 years old, I'd be like, yeah, that's fine. And it's only because now that I watch anime as an adult that I'm like, this is creepy and weird.
Yeah, I'm the same way, admittedly, with, like, the Persona games, since those have, like, a dating mechanic, and it's like, you can date, like, your teacher, or you can date this, like, goth doctor, or you can date your surrogate little sister, or your classmate, or... And it's like, I'm just gonna ignore this mechanic.
Like, at this point, I'm okay with dating the teacher because at least she's closer to my actual age. In the context of the game, it's wrong. But in the context of life, it makes me feel less gross.
Yeah.
Also, she probably has a 401k, and if we work out, it'll be okay. But yeah, that was like I was kind of hoping that Sanji would be, and I've heard like the next two arcs, he kind of I think even you said it or someone else has told me to, he like regresses a little bit, where he's just like every beautiful girl, and like I grew up on Inuyasha where Morocco was constantly that way. He's the horny pervy monk from Inuyasha, for those of you guys who haven't watched that. And it's just like, I know those people in the real world. I work in construction, so I like every single day is like, hey, can I show you what I hit this weekend? And it's like, I don't like, cool, man, she's hot, but like, what's she like? I don't know. And I'm like, okay, like
that's also, honestly, great thing about being gay, people don't do that with you. They're just like, you wouldn't get it. And I'm just like, damn right I wouldn't.
Well, it's like people look at me and they're like, oh, what, you're married? I'm like, yeah, I'm married. I'm not dead. Like, I still will objectify the fuck out of Hugh Jackman. That man can sing and dance.
Yeah.
Like, that's perfectly fine. Like, yeah, so, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know this character exists. I know you like food, and I know you like this. Can you like get into dancing or something, Sanji? Like, I want a hip hop episode where you're like, oh, I really like breakdancing. Like, give me personality.
I will say it doesn't get as bad as someone like with the guy from Inuyasha, or like Mideta from My Hero Academia. There are still like lines that Oda will not cross with Sanji. But, like, I will say he does end up liking that gag a little bit more than what people would probably want him to use. And he does eventually, like, get to a point where he kind of just, like, stops with that gag and goes back to, like, all right, let's make Sanji, like, a multi-dimensional character, essentially.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. But after the defeat happens... we go to the Sabody Archipelago.
That's the name of the arc!
It is. And I love the fact, so the island is made out of a mangrove of trees that, like, when the viscousness of, like, their sap and the seawater, and the way mango trees work is they have nodes that come out of the ground and get a little bit higher up from the rest of the trees to help gather oxygen in the lower area. And then, they have the roots that come out. Like, it produces bubbles that are, because they're in that viscousness, they float into the air, and they can utilize the bubbles for different things. It is such a cool, it's a really cool idea.
It's so good.
Like,
I love how, like, Sabody looks, honestly.
Every, like, what was it, the Water 7 arc being like, hey, congratulations, it's Venice. I was like, okay, it's a shipbuilding town. That's, like, why not make it like Venice? Like, make it a super New York metropolitan Venice.
Yeah. With, like, water roads, basically.
Yeah. And this one, it's like,
and
we have... Oda's knack for that so far, like, even like when we're going through Alabasta, and it's like, okay, it's a, it's a like it's like a desert
town.
I was like, but it felt like you'd go to some towns and it would be like, okay, it's a little Old West, and then some things would be like Arabian Nights. And I was like, that's a really cool moment. I thought it was really, really great.
I think like probably like consistently one of like the best parts in any One Piece arc is just going to the new location and seeing like what the fuck is like different from here from the other islands. I think it never ceases to just be like, oh my god, they actually have canned bread here or something. I don't know. But like stuff like, oh, we get to like have like bubbles that like people can ride on, or like in Water 7 where it's just like water roads that are pulled by like seahorses essentially. Or like Thriller Bark, there's zombies everywhere and it's a completely ominous like atmosphere. That's great. I love that. Show me more of that.
I mean, it's so...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to be like, show me more of that. And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm already caught up. So...
And as someone who, like, he grew up on an island nation and just, like, going from northern Japan to southern Japan, like, you've got parts of Japan that are metropolis, other parts of it that, you know, are these long stretches of rice paddies, Fujisama, or going to, like, Hakone down to Okinawa. Like, there is so much, so many, like, different facets to Japan. And, like, I think, you know, they also have China to draw on, Korea, the Philippines. So it makes so much sense that they would draw on this, but I feel like they've yet to do like there have been some islands that are a little bit more generic and plain, like the Long Island or like the like, and it's just like, okay, it's an island here, but then you get like Skypiea, which is like, the
island in Oda, the sky.
Yeah, Oda
that's also
is
like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. Yeah. It's just
I do like
it's a great world. It's just a great world.
I like how Luffy always gets like sucked into like trying to buy the thing that only works on this island too, because they rent those little bikes that have bubbles in them, and you like pedal and they like float just right in the bubble. Actually, before we do that, because they get off and they see the bubbles and Luffy like hops on the bubbles, and after they get to a certain point they pop, because the atmospheric pressure changes and the outside of the bubble and the inside is so different that it forces it to equalize. So you can't, like, the bubbles don't just float into space indefinitely. They only get like just above the trees before they start to pop. But yeah, like Luffy's like, oh,
for traffic though.
Huh?
You gotta admit that would be like really great for traffic though. Because if like it's ever like too bad, like at one height you just like go like 5 feet in the air and then just like drive past everybody.
You eventually you'd still have to have lanes and stuff, because because Star Wars has a lot of that where it's like multi layers of traffic in the same thing, and you still get traffic jams in New York for that one. But yeah, it was when like Luffy's like, let's buy these bikes, and everyone's like, they literally only work here, man. We're just gonna rent them, and he's like bummed out for a second. But then they're just like, oh hey, here's this cool bike thing. And then we learn about probably the most, I think it's like almost right here, we learn about the most like annoying, dumb group of characters.
Fucking terrible. Just awful. The worst.
The Celestial Dragons. I don't think they're worse than Spandman. I think Spandman, like, I literally still would, like, if he was on fire, I would pee on his face so he could watch me laugh at him.
Honestly, I think, like, I said, like, a while ago that Spandam is, I think, one of the most hated One Piece characters. The Celestial Dragons, I think, kind of undoubtedly are the most hated One Piece characters.
I mean, like, Spurtaman has a design, and the Celestial Dragons, like, when it was like, these are Celestial Dragons, I was like, okay, they're tied to, like, the people, they can trace their lineage back to, like the founding of the world. And I'm like, okay, so they're the incest royal family of Britain in the One Piece world. And I'm looking at him
Yeah.
going like, okay, that's exactly who you are. You have to wear suits because you're so inbred.
Mm-hmm. No, they
And
wear suits just because they don't want to breathe the same air us commoners do.
I'm sure that's what they say.
Yeah.
Throwing this out there, I think they, yeah. And they're detestable, and it's like, no, you have to bow to them. You don't understand. The world government has to kowtow to them. They have to, like, send an admiral here because you're literally right underneath Navy headquarters.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool setting as well, to be like, oh yeah, Navy headquarters is right
Is
there.
not,
They
yeah. Is not
they don't
far.
tend to just look down. Yeah. And then we after
think,
that
like,
it's go ahead.
their like introduction is like they have like an actual slave. We should probably mention right now, celestial dragons are slave owners, like unambiguously, and like they even like make all of their slaves wear like a collar on their neck that explodes if they like disobey them. And like our introduction to the celestial dragons is one of the slaves being like, "Oh man, I used to be a pirate. I want to just go back to my family." And then like the collar like starts beeping and then click and then off with his head it explodes. And then like the celestial dragon's like, I didn't really like your attitude, and then shoots him in the face with a gun to finish off the job. It's brutal, and if it doesn't make you hate the celestial dragons immediately, I question your judgment and worldview.
The celestial dragons are, and I was not expecting Oda to go like because they've kind of touched on slavery, but this was like, nah, full on slave trade auctions. We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, Oda. Well, we're gonna do this. And yeah, and it made parts of this world so despicable.
Yeah.
That I couldn't even.
You want to see that place fucking burn to the ground a little bit.
Yeah, like when Luffy and all them are about to like act a fool and be like, "No, we're gonna fucking throw hands." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the only right answer. Throw hands, guys." But they don't, and instead they're taking Hachin's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you guys to the best." They're here to get a coat so that way they can sail this Thousand Sunny underwater to go to the Fishman Islands, and they're like, we're gonna go find him. He's probably at this bar up here, and they'll be able to do the coding for you. And we meet the coolest non-pirate anymore / like tertiary character that anytime there's an update, I want to see what they're like. Shaki.
Shaki.
I loved her.
Yeah.
Like, they go into this bar.
She's underrated, I would say.
Yeah, there are people running afoul in her bar, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna, and they're like, we're here to see, go ahead and sit down, guys. I need to take care of some light work real quick. And they're like, do you need, no. And I'm like, she like boots the guys out of the bar, comes back in, is like, yeah, I used to be a pirate. It was a pretty good one back in the day. Sitting there smoking a cigarette, like, help yourself to the food. And Luffy's like, dibs, I'm on the fridge now. And she's like, I like you for that. and then like she gives you she's like, oh yeah, you're looking for my husband, not here, I don't know, he left like 4 years ago or something ridiculous. He's out gambling, he does this.
Yeah.
And it's like yeah, just go check the gambling halls and you guys can find him. But then she tells us about the 11 supernovas.
Yep.
Who are the new the new up and coming pirates.
Yeah. They're all from the East Blue, and it's like 9 captains and 2 first mates.
Yeah, it's so we
basically kind of get a roll call of all of them. 2 of them are Luffy and Zoro. Because like the whole thing is that like you're from the East Blue and you have a bounty of over 100 million berries, which both of them have. Sanji doesn't have that yet, but he'll get there. And then
The
the 9 others get like roll called, basically.
okay, so this we'll go through who they all are in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I have my favorite non-Straw Hat Pirate person right now, and I know
I
yours
know
is
who it
Buggy. Scratchman Apu is my favorite. With the
he's a funny
fruit.
guy. Yeah.
Well, he's just sitting there like he's like, all right, there's someone down here I need to fight, like playing his keys, playing his arm, like it's like he's like I can like bump up, and he's like playing all this music, which brings the question: did the fruit teach him how to play instruments too?
I'm not sure we get that explanation. I think it's just something where it's like, well, this is my power now. Guess I gotta learn music now because I gotta learn my power if I'm gonna be a pirate.
Oh my god, I thought his was so cool, and I know he comes back because I went to his wiki page. It's like, appears again. I'm like, cool, I can't wait to get to you. I hope you do some cool things, man.
Yeah, all
was
of these
that the person you were expecting?
Appear again.
Was he?
No, admittedly, it was gonna be like the obvious aura farmer of the group, but we'll get to him.
So the other supernovas are the Capone gang Beige, who are like Al Capone pirates. Big Eater Jewelry Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
The Magician Basil Hawkins.
Yep.
Eustace Captain Kidd.
Mm-hmm. His first name, Killer.
Say again?
Also, Kid's first mate named Killer is also a supernova.
He's listed he's at the bottom. I think it's going through all the like captains. Scratchman Apu. Mm-hmm. The Mad Monk Iraj, who was also from Skypiea, which I thought was really, really cool. Barakan, the Masker Soldier Killer, who shows up. And then there's Red Flag X Drake, or Cross Drake. And
Drake.
then there's the Trafalgar Law, who I've seen a Trafalgar. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Who I've seen in a lot of things here. And I like that it's like Captain Kidd is the only one higher than Luffy.
Yep.
And Shocky goes, and Luffy's like, oh, he must be. No, he has a lot of civilian casualties. And Luffy's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And she's like, that's why I like you. Like, I like you so much because of who you are. And you're like, I'm not gonna like lower myself or think of that or anything like that. Like, this is just what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where I like when other people who have had their stories, like Shocky's done, her husband who was also a pirate, they were like they're done being pirates, but they've had substantial lives as pirates, and they start looking and going like, oh hey, who out of this new group you feeling? And the fact that they're like, I really like Luffy. So and it's because like Trafalgar Law, that's gonna be easier. I'm not gonna keep butchering that. I don't know. I think that like Law looks like he could be pretty cool, and I'm excited because I know I've seen some things before about trust and things like a trust bit that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, and all these people look cool. When you start seeing their fruits or things like that, I'm like, oh, this is really, really cool, and who they're going to be. I like that Drake is a former like Marine Rear Admiral. Gonna sit here and say it. I can see now why he's not a Rear Admiral anymore, not because he's a pirate, but like we've seen some Rear Admirals, and I don't think you'd make the cut anymore, kid.
Mm-hmm. Although it is cool that he can turn into a dino.
It was, but it just like when I saw him do it, I'm like, oh, Drake, Dragon, I'm here for it, and then I'm just like, and I like that like the only reason Kid has a higher bounty, and he's like yeah, go, like he hurts civilians and she's I just love the fact that she's like, Luffy relaxes and goes, okay, if that's all it is, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I like the cut of your jib. This was a complete arc of, you know what? I like the cut of your jib.
Yep. And now I get to bring up a fun fact about these guys, so that way the comment section doesn't have to.
Okay, go.
The 9 other supernovas, other than Luffy and Zoro, were not initially planned when Sabody began. Oda was afraid that Sabody was going to be very boring unless, like, he did something drastic. So he basically came up with 9 characters, like, kind of on the spot, and put them in the arc as the 11 supernovas.
So this is almost like the, oh god, what are the warlords of the sea before the admirals, because they were afraid of how strong everybody was.
Pretty much.
But
it's not in the case of, like, oh, we don't think Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats would be able to beat these people. Because, honestly, I think, like, half of these, like, do kind of fold to not even just Luffy, but a lot of the other Straw Hats, even right now. But I do think that, like, Oda was afraid, like, oh, there's not much happening in Sabody, and it's a lot of just setup for what I have planned later. So he decided to just introduce all the supernovas. And basically, I'm pretty sure he didn't have, like, a plan for any of them. And as you'll see later, they do all, like, come back in some way, shape, or form. And I do think that Trafalgar Law might have been planned a little bit before, but with a different role. I think he was initially planned to be a villain, but that ended up not panning out. So yeah, there you go. That's our fun fact for the arc.
And the thing is, I think if you didn't have Luffy have people to, like, the Straw Hats cannot be peers to Luffy in the regards of being a pirate, because none of them are there to be a pirate. They all have their own goals, and he's just like, but the best pirate in the world could use that. Right. Could use the best one of these in the world. So I don't need you to be the best pirate, but Zoro, you need to be the best swordsman. Sanji, I don't know how to cook. Nami, I can't. I can't navigate like you can. Yeah. And so Mrs. Play, this will be a fun backstory. So I'm watching this, and Mrs. Play is watching towards the end of the arc, and she's like, I don't understand, like, what all these people are. I'm like, no, Luffy, what makes Luffy, and she's like, the power of friendship. I'm like, no, Luffy believes in your dream, and Luffy knows his own limitations. Like, he can't navigate like Nami can. She's like, why is he a captain if he can't navigate? I'm not saying he can't. He's not Zoro. Zoro gets lost every 30 seconds, including in this arc. Like, and then, but, like, he's like, I can't, like, Nami will be like, hey, the barometric pressure's changed and we're in for a storm. We need to go that way. We're going to be in deep shit if we stay here. And it's like, the captain is good at a lot of things, but he's not the master at everything, but he is the ultimate decision maker. He just needs everything to be brought before him. And Mrs. Play just roasted it for like 10 minutes. And I was like, damn. And I pulled up like 6 out. I am hoping that when they do One Piece Brotherhood, we will restart that and watch it together. Yeah. Because I think when it's Brotherhooded, I think she might really enjoy it. So there, after meeting and talking about the supernovas, the Straw Hat crew is like, hey, let's go look for this guy. We're gonna go check out the all the gambling houses in this amusement park area. Yep. And Hachin is like, we cannot go there. Kami and I cannot go there. It's not safe. There are strong people there. We really just can't go there. And Luffy and all of them are like, nah, go with us. Don't worry, it'll be fine. It's not fine. Kami gets outed as a mermaid and gets kidnapped. And she gets kidnapped and sent to a slave auction house where she is going to be, excuse me, she
Auctioned
is
off.
going to be, yeah, and she's going to be the, like, she's like the headline. I want to call her the headliner, but it's like, no, the mermaid is the big thing they're bringing in today. The giant doesn't count. None of this other stuff counts.
Yeah, because the celestial dragons are very particular about what race that they want fulfilling certain roles. Like, they would want, like, a giant to do something that a young, spry 16-year-old mermaid could do. Wink.
Do they actually say that? I don't know if I missed that. If I was just like glaring at it so hard.
Saint Charlos is very interested in purchasing Kami, and it's basically kind of like, if not confirmed or like said outright, I haven't like actually watched this like in a while, so I don't remember. But if he doesn't outright say it, he does like heavily imply like, yeah, I want this girl to be my like 8th wife or some shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
And quick positive update for those of you going to MagFest. It looks like it's going to be Mega Man X themed this year.
Woo!
So there's your wrong button will be there. Plan is to do a tight 10. But yeah, so we have
So we gotta rescue Kami from the auction house, so that way St. Charlos doesn't get her.
And I know you said this a couple episodes ago, where we were talking about, like, you were like, the fishmen aren't that strong. And Arlong, like, in the grand scheme of things, is a very weak individual. And, like, I'm sitting there and, like, you watch this, Hachin gets bodied like it's nothing. And I was so enraptured with the fact that it's like, oh, like it's not safe for the fishmen. It's not safe for anyone who's a fish person, even if they have their fishman karate. Like, them being in the East Blue, they literally were like, okay, we're level 20. Let's go back to level 1, like 1 through 5, and we'll be gods. But the second we step to anywhere like level 15 and up, we're only okay even if we're over leveled a little bit, is exactly how it felt.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't. It was kind of like, oh, this is a really good part-way check for you of, hey, this is what it actually would have been like had Luffy and them come in where they're at now facing Arlong. Like, Arlong would not have been a problem. Nami would have probably taken Arlong. For
sure. Like, she can definitely, like, take Arlong at this point.
Also, like, I'm gonna...
Trauma, like, notwithstanding with Nami.
Yeah, we take out the trauma and what he did to her, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the... And I'm gonna also say this, because I think we've already seen it by this point. Robin's flesh wings...
yeah,
still kind of gross.
Seen it.
Still kind of gross.
Just so you know, bat wings, like, those are also made of flesh.
But these, like,
bird
these
wings
are like
also made of flesh, technically.
If they were bat wings, I wouldn't care. It's the fact that they're like her arms folding in to make wings that look like petals or look like feathers. Like, that's where I'm like, this is kind of weird. But Kami gets kidnapped, and everyone's like, hey, we need to go get them. The auction house is here. We get the cut of Kami in the giant fishbowl, and we get to see a giant and a really cool old guy next to her. He's got silver hair, so you know he was fucking really cool at some point in his life, because that's what silver hair means. And, like, people are coming in to, like, we're gonna do this.
You could still be cool.
Hey, well, it's not that you can't be cool, but I think in most anime, silver hair is typically seen as this person has, like, hit where they're going to get to, and anyone who meets them goes past that. They get their, like, that's their next jump.
Mhm.
But someone comes in to like put someone comes in to like I think put an explosive thing or do something, and he looks at him, and the guy like goes, "I can't do this," and leaves. And the giant goes, "Hey, old man, I know what you did there. That was like Emperor's hockey, wasn't it?" And he's like, "Dude, I'm old. Like, do you think that I could do that? Would I be sitting here chained up if I could just do that?" And the giant's like, "Yeah, kind of." Like the giant's like you make a good argument, but I'm not buying your bullshit.
Yeah.
Um, and
If
the
it wasn't
gang,
hockey, then what did you do? Just
and
I'm
we
just
I
that
still don't know what
charming.
hockey is. I've
Yeah,
seen it
you're not
used.
supposed to know what hockey is at this point.
I've been so happy because I've seen it used, right? Because
Hmm.
I know that we saw Shanks use it early on. We
Yes.
saw Luffy kind of use it at some point. Uh, and a few other people have like used it. I know like some of his later weird gears get to like he's technically using hockey with the gear,
Yeah.
which I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, and but I still don't know what it is, and the rest of the group is now like, yo, we need to get there to do that, and they run into the Flying Fish Riders, or I think now they're calling themselves the Handsome Riders. I
Yeah.
think they've even gone up past the Rosy Riders or the
Han-
Life is Good Riders.
Handsome Riders is what I call myself on Grinder, by the way. I'm sorry, I had to make the joke.
Oh. I God, there are so many things. I'm like, God, if were I a single man, I would try so hard to incorporate this entire arc into a Tinder profile. But the uh, that's just really good. That's gonna be the thing. Like the handsome riders, like that is that like grinder profile from One Piece.
Yeah.
And I have a title for this episode. Um, uh, okay, so everyone, Zoro gets lost. Shocking.
Yeah, of course.
But somehow everyone makes it to the auction house, and they get there. The celestial dragons have gotten there, and Hachin and Papag are like, "Hey man, you have to play by their rules. If you go in there swinging and something happens to a celestial dragon, the admirals are going to get here, and it's like you have to do that." And
Mhm.
Nami goes, "Bet I've got like $1 billion. I'm gonna
I'm
I'll
willing
just."
to spend it all on Kami if I have to. Which I
Which I
think
was
is
like,
like really good growth for Nami.
yeah, Nami's like, "No, this isn't right. I'm not gonna let this happen. This is our fault."
Hmm.
Um, People start getting auctioned off. It's really horrific. Disco is the MC for this entire ordeal, and um, the and so they get there, and Kami comes out because things start to happen, and like people start like passing out weirdly in the back or not being able to do something,
Yeah.
and they're like, all right, fuck it, just bring Kami out here. And the celestial dragon goes like $10 billion, and they're all like, what? That's
Immediately.
like, yeah, it's like over any asking price. Nobody else can like even touch their bid. Um,
Hmm.
and that's when Luffy's like, yeah, we're not doing this shit. And Zoro's like, you're right, we're not doing this bullshit.
Yeah.
And like goes down there and gets up to, which one was that one? It wasn't because it was like the uncle, the sister, and the one nephew, Charlos, right?
Yeah, Charlos.
Um,
Saint
Charlos,
Charlos.
and punches him in the face. And the
Hmm.
episode is literally called like "The Punch Heard Around the World," which
Yeah.
calls it
Well,
automatically
actually,
calls a Navy admiral.
you actually kind of forgot something because
Hachin getting
right
shot.
when, yeah, Hachi like gets shot, like he's disguising himself as like a person, but like once his like hood like falls off of him, then it's revealed, oh, he's actually a fisherman. So Charlos just shoots him with a gun, and that like sets Luffy the fuck off. And he just like walks up to him and just like punches Charlos. And like in the anime, it is like insanely better than the manga, because you get like that long, like kind of drawn out, but like drawn out just enough shot of like Luffy's fist just in Charlos's face. Color just stops existing for a minute, and he just goes flying into like the wall.
And Zoro like runs into Charlos earlier too, because Charlos is like angry at Zoro because he's like, oh, do you need directions? Because he wasn't there when they were told to bow. And Bonnie actually saves him, like when he gets shot, tackles and like breaks ketchup on his chest, and is like, oh brother, why were you so stupid? Stay the fuck down. Why were you so dumb and stupid and not listening to us? Don't fucking move. Stay. I can't believe. And it's this really good like sequence there of like, even some of the pirates are like, fuck, these guys, there's something with them. Do not mess with them. You cannot.
Yeah. So, like, even Zoro, like, kind of got, like, the 411 on the Celestial Dragons. Like, before shit hit the fan.
But, yeah, but then it's, so they have a little bit of a fight there. I love here that this is when Kid, so the fight happens, I think
the Marines get called in because of the punch.
The Marines surround... Go ahead.
Yeah. And then basically Luffy, Law, and Kid basically decide to show off each other's, like, devil fruits to each other, and it's kind of a dick measuring contest at that point.
It's a good one. But, like, so before that, Charlos' sister walks down because Kami's... I think Zoro does a slash and cuts the top off of Kami's, like, bubble that she's in.
Yeah.
And Silver or the old man walks out with the giant and like beats the piss out of everyone in the back too. And they're like, what's happening here? How did you lose this? And walks out and like sees her with the gun. And then all of a sudden she like stops, freezes, and like falls over, drops the gun. He walks out further, more guards come in, and he does it again. And the Straw Hats are looking at him. Everyone else is looking at him like, shit, what's going on here? We know something's happening, but we don't know what's going on. And he's like, hey, you don't deserve this. Let me take that thing off of you. Frankie's sent to go find keys. He like grabs the necklace that's gonna blow off her head if she like tries to remove it, and like snaps it and flings it away in order to like save them, and like ends up using the keys, get tossed to the rest of the slaves, and it's like, hey, get these, get out of here. And then, yes, we get our dick measuring contest between Luffy, Eustace, and Law.
Yep.
Where
they're basically just, like, juggling, like, the fucking Marine troops like they're nothing.
Yeah, I think there was, like, a captain. There was, like, one captain there, and he gets pretty well, like, beaten. And this starts bringing me to, like, really, really weird things. So, like, Kid has, like, I can attract metal and iron and then, like, attract it and use it like it's, like, arms. I can also, like, control it and then repel it. It's, like, a 4-point thing that he can do. Yeah. But he's like, oh, by the way, I can shoot this back. Luffy, of course, we get his gum fruit, which might not be a gum fruit. Because that came up in my feed. I have no idea what it means. All I've now people are like theorizing. I started skipping it.
Just keep calling it the gum fruit. Just keep calling it the gum fruit. We'll get
That's
to
the plan. He yells gum. It's the gum fruit. Yeah. And then Laws is the most confusing, but was the most fun to watch in this group because like yells. He's known as a surgeon.
The surgeon of death.
He yells out room, and like cuts and bisects people, and their heads just fall off, but they're not dead.
Yeah.
And then he can, like, reattach your face to someone's... Like, he could make the human centipede.
He could literally hand your ass to you.
And it's like... I don't think... what is it saying? Does the Gomu Gomu no Fuzen move? Okay, that's fine, because he has the net. But I don't know what Law's power is, because I'm assuming he ate a devil fruit.
Yes, it is the op fruit, basically. So he can basically make those rooms, and then basically, because he always carries his sword around, he can basically just slice you up and dice you however he sees fit. It doesn't kill you or anything, but you're in a state of just, what the fuck is going on? Because literally, how do you respond to that? And then he can basically use what he always says, shambles, and then basically rearrange where everything is within the room.
So
there's also some other shit, but I do not want to say what it is.
Hang on one second. So it's Opi Opi no Mi is the name of the fruit.
Yep, in Japanese.
I'm going to do Japanese to English.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like... What is the joke? Like, Gum Gum...
It's gonna involve something that's gonna be a plot point way later.
Damn it. Okay.
So sorry about that.
No, like, everyone else's, like, when Scratch Apu's came out, and I was like, oh, dude, that's, like, it's like, he's like, this is the Tone fruit. I'm like... That's really dumb, and I'm really here for it, because, like, music's such a huge part of my life. I'm like, oh, I found the devil fruit I want. Can you actually get that devil fruit? Hold on.
I mean, sorry. I can't because I live in reality, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have eaten Robin's devil fruit, like, immediately.
I love the look of her devil fruit. I want to see what this devil fruit looks like, though.
The op fruit?
Oh, I don't think they have it.
Tone one.
No, the Tone.
I don't think, because not all of these, like, get, like, illustrations. I know, like, a lot of, like, the more popular ones do. But I don't think...
I think the Tone fruit needs to get that. I absolutely adore the Tone fruit. I'm so excited to... Like, and I like, he like hits the top of his head, and it's the tap, it's the symbol with the double tap on it. Like his arm turns into like a clarinet or
his
keyboards.
Teeth are keyboards. Yeah, it's a fun power, and unfortunately, like, I know Scratchman Apu is like one of the least popular of the supernovas, which is unfortunate because I actually do really like the power.
Yeah, and I feel like it could be cool in its own. Like, in another thing, I would like to see a spin-off series of him, but, like, that's fine that we don't. But after this, we get to probably the most important parts. We've summed up the beginning of it, and the end of it will be summed up pretty quickly. But everyone, we learned that the old man who came out, his name is Raleigh, and he is...
Silver's Rayleigh.
He's like, hey... He's like, let's go back to my bar. My wife's there. She's a great cook. And they're like, oh, your wife sent us to look for you. So this all works out super well. And we go back. And I know you were like, hey, I'm going to give you get a Buster Call.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll get more as time comes. But so at this point, we're like 6 to 8 episodes from the end of the arc, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, fuck, this is where you use the Buster Call. You got 6 episodes left, dude. Okay, one more episode. Oh, fuck, this is where you use the Buster... And I'm just like, you could have slammed that Buster Call for just them sitting in the bar talking. Because...
No, because it's a good moment, honestly. I get it.
Yeah, we get the... I want to know, like, when that manga panel appeared versus... How far are you in Hunter x Hunter?
I haven't, like, seen anything post York New. Admittedly.
Have you heard about Gon's mom?
I have not, admittedly.
Okay. So you don't know about his dad talking to him or anything like that yet, a recording?
No. I know
Okay.
like the recording of like, hey, I don't want you to like look for me, basically.
Okay. Um so there's a point in this. So
Mhm.
we learn who Silver's Raleigh is. And the reason I was asking that is because I don't know if you're keeping up with the cat or the versus wolves, because they did the conversation um going up through York New City right before you get to Greed Island.
Right.
And there's a point here. So we learned one, Silver's Raleigh was Gold Roger's first mate.
Yep. Second in
Like, oh,
command.
yeah, like no small feat on his own. Like, nah, I am the second, probably the second strongest pirate in the world, right?
Yeah.
Bar none. We learned that Gold Roger, like after they did everything, he's like, all right, guys, we did the thing. We're done being pirates. We're disbanding. And,
Yep.
and it's just like, it's like, wait, what do you mean we're
It's
disbanding?
yeah, it's kind of like why would Roger like want to disband the pirates that were
Um,
like just doing really well together and like had all this success.
and
And
then
then
it's
you
like,
get
oh,
another
it's
bombshell. It's like rapid
that,
fire bombshells that he's giving you.
yeah, it's like, oh, he had cancer. He wasn't gonna make it. It's like,
Mm,
oh, the Marines didn't kill Roger. Roger was just like, if I can't live the way that, like, in this
mm,
way, I don't want to live. Um,
mm-hmm. He
we
turned
learned
himself
that
in.
yeah, he's like, hey, here I am. Go ahead, execute me. Do what you need to do. And Silver's Raleigh's like, every major pirate in the world today was like influenced and probably there at his execution.
Hmm. And then we
We
do get
learned
like a small like joke from Brooke where he's hearing like Gold Roger and he's like, "Huh, I wonder what that rookie's up to."
that's
Because he's
right.
so old that
Yeah,
like last time he heard about Roger, he was just starting out. And I think
and
that's a very funny, underrated joke that like Oda does bring out for Brooke every now and again.
then it's like you learn that, okay, Frankie's mentor, I lost his name, um,
Tom.
Tom, like, okay, he built the ship that like
Hmm.
Gold Roger used, like let's just say for right now the best pirate ship ever built. Like
Yes.
if Gold Roger was king of the pirates, like built that. Um, the guy at the lighthouse. By the way, that was the doctor that was like taking care of Gold Roger when he started getting sick and was the medic
Hmm.
on their ship. You're like, oh, wait. So everyone who you've met that's been like this really cool old guy who's like, I'm a
Yep.
harmless. Like, no, none of them are. They are all fucking. They are crew members for Gold Roger,
Yeah.
and you have his second in command
Recontextualizes a lot.
just chilling in a bar with his wife because he's like, well,
Hmm.
we're kind of done, so like our story's over. I'm just gonna chill here and I'll go coat your boat for you. Um, and
Hmm.
then we get oh yeah,
Usopp
and then we had these two cabin boys. We had Shanks
and Buggy.
and we had Buggy, and I'm just like it for
Hmm.
Buggy to get. I'm gonna say this. For Buggy to get like so bitch slapped early on by Luffy
Hmm.
after being one of Gold Roger's cabin boys,
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, I've seen Shanks, and I know Shanks lost his arm, and I'm like, hey, Shanks, you could have used the hockey a little bit earlier, but maybe you just wanted to give someone else a fighting chance because they knew if you had both your arms, no one would be able to take you.
Yep.
And so now we're sitting here, and we've got the entire world, like everyone that mattered and like helped Luffy out and was just like, you know what, kid, I like the cut of your jib. They were all part of Gold Roger's crew.
Hmm. Makes you wonder if they saw a little bit of Roger and Luffy.
Yeah, and then we get to learn about Robin going like, hey, so that means you can read the old language. What is the will of D? And I'm like, yeah, what is it? And it's just like, you'll figure it out. And then and he's like, I could tell you where the One Piece is. I can tell you what the One Piece is. I can tell you the meaning of life, because that's apparently what the fucking things are going to lead to, is like the meaning of life. And Usopp's like, well, tell it. And then Luffy
slams his foot on the table and is like, no. And you get a really good moment from him.
And it's his Gon moment. There's a moment that you're going to get to right before you get to Greed Island where Gon says no to something. And he gives you his reason why. And you're like, fuck, you are a great character. Even if it's just in this one moment, this solidifies who you are. And Luffy goes, I don't want to know. I don't want to go on a boring adventure. I don't want to lead. Like, I'm not going to be king of the pirates because I want to lead some grand revolution of a new era. I want to be king of the pirates so I can be the most free person on the planet.
It's so
and I can't do that. And I'm watching that, and Mrs. Play's like, that's a really dumb... And I'm like, what?
No, it's the most Luffy thing he could do.
But it's like one of those things, like, I looked at Mrs. Play, I'm like, because Luffy is very TISM-coded, but he also has some ADHD in him, and I'm like, you the person who craves novelty, like, you're, like, we go to another country, and I will learn the language, and you will sit there and, like, be like, I'm gonna go discover these things, we're gonna go discover this, we don't need a tour bus, we're gonna learn it, we're gonna do it, and that's all he's saying he wants to do. He's like, I will not be on a boring adventure.
He doesn't want, like, the adventure spoiled for him. He wants to be surprised, and he wants to figure it out for himself, because to him, part of the fun of adventuring is that whole, I want to figure this out. It's not fun for him to basically know the ending of the story and then work his way up to it.
And like, the fact that I think Raleigh looks at Robin and goes, hey, I actually can't read the poneglyph. And Roger learned enough to pretty much carve his name on some of the stones.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't really read it. He just knew how to, like, write the one thing. But I love that he looks at them and goes, like, he looks at Robin and goes, you're going to be the one to figure it out. Like, no one else has done it yet. It's going to be you. Don't worry. And looks at Luffy and goes, this is how I know that you're going to be an amazing... Like, this is how I know you're going to be the king of the pirates. This is why I'm pulling for you to be the king of the pirates. He's like, so you are... And it's like, I don't know what the Will of D is. I know Rustage has a great Will of D song, and I refuse to listen to it because I don't want that, because that... Listening, he does a song I think called Bound by Blood, which is about Sabo, Luffy, and Ace, and that's what, like, spoiled me on, like, Ace, you know, the last words there, and I know a little bit about Sabo.
Yeah.
Mostly what I know about Sabo is he's got really good fashion sense.
Oh yeah, he has like one of the best designs. Also, in the dub, he's voiced by Johnny Young Bosch.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna get introduced. That's gonna be the only thing I watch in, like, English is just his arcs. He feels like he would be a Johnny Young Bosch. A
character.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've been watching the training, because I've seen some clips of Kobe doing cool things out of context, but they've also been making Kobe montages to make a man out of you.
Oh.
And, like, him, like, punching, like, iron boats to put, like, holes in them to be like Garp. Like, I've seen some training things there of, like, how cool these guys are.
They are pretty cool.
And I like Scratchapoo is going to be my favorite, like, like, right now he's my favorite
he's your
One
favorite,
Piece
like,
person.
wild card character.
Yeah, just, like...
Like, he's not ore farming or anything, but, like, You gotta love him. He's just a
So
goofy motherfucker.
you said aura farming. Who would you say was doing that? Was that Law?
Uh, yeah, I think like Law is like kind of a big aura farmer, I guess, because he does
Okay.
like you're gonna see later he gets like drawn in a lot of different poses. In fact, another kind of fun fact is that in the manga, he does actually like flip off Eustace Kid at one point in this arc, but they cut it out of the anime.
He does something like almost like bites his thumb at him. Um,
Yeah,
and I like how
in the manga he
ridiculous his
does
sword
like
is.
give him the middle finger.
That's great. And I like that he has like a Zanpakuto toe. Like it's really cool. Like that he's got like, he's not a swordsman like Zoro. He's a swordsman like Ichigo from Bleach,
Yeah,
which needs to say is like, I can swing this sword really hard and my power will do the rest of it.
yeah.
Um, the
I would also say Zoro is like an aura farmer in One Piece. Because like he
Really?
also like, I mean, like maybe more so like later on than right now, but like there are like a lot of like ways where he's drawn where he's supposed to like look insanely cool. Kind of
Oh,
like an aura
that's what you mean
farmer.
by aura farmer. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm on the same page. I can see
Okay.
that. Um, the but after this heartfelt, yeah, so like that happened, and like he just starts dropping things, and we're getting to the point now where it's like we've got like 3 or 4 episodes left, and we know there has to be an admiral coming because a celestial dragon was,
Assaulted.
hit in the face. And the and so Silver's Raleigh, like, is like, hey, I really like you. Let me go coat your ship for you. It'll take me 3 days to do this.
Right.
3 days, and I will go ahead and I will coat your ship. And the rest of the crew is like, cool, we'll meet him back there in 3 days. Let's go back to the amusement park. Let's go wander around and see
Let's have fun. See the sights. Have a grand old time.
And then we get the arrival of Admiral Kizaru.
Yep.
And so the
Cool.
have you played, I know you've played Yakuza Like a Dragon, right?
Oh, just so you know, I am aware what you're about to say. Yes, all of the admirals in One Piece are modeled after Yakuza actors
He
in
looks like
Japan.
the actor from Yakuza 0, Kuze,
Hmm.
who's like the old guy who's like super honor bound and like has to like in Yakuza 0, he's like he's the coolest like Yakuza boss that you have to fight.
Yeah.
Um and he comes in, and this guy, like, he's like moshi mosh, moshi mosh, like trying to call his nephew.
Yep.
And then like 2 guys from a rival pirate, like everyone starts seeing them arrive, and all the pirates are like, so those straw hat guys are idiots. Deuces, we're gonna get out of here. 2 of them run into the admiral. They're like, we could be famous. I got a rifle. And the one guy's like, dude, I don't think we should do this. He goes, I got this. Shoots him in the head. And he's just like, moshi mosh, into his little like, wrist
His
transponder smell.
Yeah.
And I just love that. It's just moshi mosh. That's all he keeps doing. And I was like, what the fuck is your bullshit? Because it's like because whenever somebody moves, like you see the move, you see a couple hair fly off of them, like just missed me. And then you see it, and it's like, no, this thing went through his head. So I'm like, well, you don't have the undead fruit because that went to this person. You're not Smoker. Smoker I think is still alive because he last I checked, he was going to go out with his first mate to become higher than captains and learn how to use his powers to chase down Luffy.
Yes.
Smoker's also another favorite. He should only smoke cigars. It's great.
So
and
you're basically
I
wondering what Admiral Kizaru's power is, and it's
and I'm
just
like,
like one of those like JoJo moments of like, all right, what stand power do you have?
and it's so incredible because he comes up to them and he's like, hey, he like goes up to the guys that shot him and goes, "Hey, I'm looking for this person," and they're like scared shitless of him, and they're like, "We don't know," and start running. He goes, "Well, I have no need for you then," and like laser beams them and obliterates them. It's like, okay, so. Yeah. Is that hockey? Like, what are we, like, I know enough things now to be like, what the fuck is going on with you?
Just like, no, you think you have everything figured out, but then Oda just, like, turns left into oncoming traffic and is like, yeah, we're just gonna, like, have this motherfucker be around and be a problem for everybody.
And, it's not even like it's not, I don't have things figured out, but it's... Mm-hmm. I think what Oda has done so well, and there's this old saying, like, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And Oda gives you enough tidbits to, like, be like, hey, you know that there are devil fruit? And it's like, yes, we do. You know that there are different types of devil fruits? Yes. You know that there's this hockey thing that people can use that, like, kind of is a catch-all for anything else. And you're like, yes. And it's like, okay, well, this guy, didn't go like gum. He didn't yell something. So therefore it has to be hockey. Like it immediately was like, well, he didn't yell something. But then I'm also like, okay, well, when Lucci, they would yell like shave or razor or like leaf step before they would use their hockey-esque abilities. And I'm like, okay, so... But they could also do the same thing for them. Maybe he's just so much stronger that he doesn't. And you watch him do stuff, and you're like, I don't know what you are or what you're capable of. And Oda's like, well, here are the possibilities. You've seen them all. Like, do you think they have to yell out their attacks every single time? This isn't Dragon Ball.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it turns out he ate the light fruit.
Which lets him turn into just light and move at the speed of light.
And that's why he's able to, like... He's able to do, like, all the, like, insane... like, he can shoot beams out of his fingers.
He can basically teleport.
Yeah. And he's got a speed of light kick where his kick turns into, like, light photons, and
It's so
and
cool.
then to make matters worse, right? So this isn't even a real. So, and this is what's also blowing my mind, right? He's the first admiral we've seen. Akoji was a rear admiral.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So, for those of you who aren't ingrained in the military world, right? You've got rear admirals, which are like 1-star. You've got 2-star admirals, which are something else. You've got 3-star admirals, which are vice admirals, and then you've got 4-star, which is those are your, like, I want to say rank and file, but those are like your admirals, and the only spot above that would be a admiral of the Navy, which is a 5-star, which we don't have except in times of extreme war when we have to consolidate. So this guy comes in and takes 2 bullets to the head. It was my I knocked over my, like, keyboard rest thing. Takes 2 bullets to the head, doesn't phase him, and then goes, by the way, I work with light. And I watched a Koji before be like, I'm gonna freeze you from the inside out to absolute zero. I ride a fucking bike on the ocean because I'm such a badass. Like, I'm riding a bike on solid ice because I'm such a badass. And this guy comes in. And this guy comes in and he's just, like, not bothered by anything, where, like, Akioji is, like, I don't think he's ever bothered, but he looks like he fights. This guy does not look like he fights any of the supernovas or anyone else who's there.
He's, like, cocky, but, like, he can back up the cocky. Kind of. Or, like, he can afford to be, like, kind of airheaded, essentially.
Yeah. He is so strong that he's allowed to just be like, I'll go with the flow. And then to make matters worse, Kuma starts showing up.
Yep.
And it's like,
not just one Kuma.
And then 3 of them, it's like, okay, there's one here, and then there's one over here, and there's, oh my god, they've cloned him. No, they made cyborgs. Okay, that's...
Still kind of terrifying, though.
And I'm like, okay, but he doesn't have the power. He'll be no, he is okay. He can still do the laser beam that the other guy can do.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts walking up to the 11 supernovas and bodying every single one of them. I think Law and Kid take down one.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
Luffy,
everybody else,
Sanji,
Zoro,
everyone
basically
else
takes the
runs, and
entire all of the Straw Hats like barely take down one. Like they win against one by the skin of their teeth. But who cares about that? Another one just shows up immediately after one gets destroyed.
And not only does he go up, but now what's his name?
Is it Sentamaru?
No, Kuzaru arrives and is like, oh, by the way, I am also here. And they're all like, that's an admiral. And he's like, okay, well, I'm going to take care of the Straw Hats real quick because light work. And the only reason he's stopped is because fucking Silver's Raleigh shows up and is like, no, you're not. And fights the man to a standstill. This is here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Silver's Rayleigh is just that cool, and like the fact that he's able to just like stand toe to toe with Kizaru should tell you something about him.
And let's talk about this. Kizaru literally walks in with a fucking lightsaber, like TM lightsaber, not joking. And
for sure,
Silver's Rayleigh like kicks that shit. And is like, not today, Satan. I don't know how old Rayleigh is compared to Kizaru. Like, I don't know where they should be with each other. Because they're both having to fight. And I'm like, is he having to fight because Kizaru has like a really broken devil fruit? Is Kizaru having to fight because Silver's Rayleigh is this really like who is having to really put out more effort? Where are we at in this?
I'd say it's like probably like kind of even, but I definitely think that like at this point I would say Rayleigh is stronger personally.
But it's never answered. And so that's my question there. It's not at no point am I thinking of this as
like a power scalar.
Yeah, but it's just like Rayleigh, like you're like, oh cool, Rayleigh was the first mate, but he's kind of done now. He's done some cool things, and then the minute he's needed, he's like, no, I still got it. I never lost it. It doesn't go away.
He does like the whole like, oh, I guess I'm a little bit rusty. I could only like stop the attack. I couldn't like reflect it or whatever.
And he's so also called the Dark King.
Dark King going up against the Light Man.
And it's weird that he's called the Dark King because, you know, Blackbeard, I've seen him now fight with his dark fruit.
Yes.
And then, so this fight's going on. The Straw Hats take down one. Another Kuma shows up and starts, like, wiping the floor with them, right? This is
the actual
It's Kuma. Not a fight. Well, no, this is even before that Kuma.
Oh, right.
Yeah, okay, and then the real Kuma shows up because he has the Bible. And this is where I get to the point that I'm watching this going like, well, I know the show continues, right? Like, but
everyone's
I could not.
Fine.
Yeah, but I could not imagine watch it. Like, I don't know. I could not imagine. I don't think I've ever seen an anime that ended a season in such a way, and I'm racking my brain through all the ones that I've seen to like. I don't know if Kuma's killed everybody. I don't know what he's done, but he starts using his pawpaw fruit and people start vanishing and then bubbles start popping in the air and like Chopper sees like the other Kuma about to take on Robin, and he's like, "Fuck this, monster time," and like pulls out the monster form, and I'm like, "Oh no, that's gonna like he is killing himself to try to save his crew," and I'm like, Chopper, like you have to know what you're doing. And then you watch Luffy like try to sprint to every one of his friends, and he doesn't get there for one. At the very end, he's like,
I was just gonna say, like, oh, another like huge part of this is that like very kind of early on, Luffy kind of realizes, oh, we can't win this, so he just yells at everybody to just run. We'll recoup later. Just get out of here and be safe. But nobody is even able to do that, so they have to fight.
You're right. He's like, run. We can't win this. None of the other, and I like that none of the other captains can win this either. Like this is the. I thought it was so great that it was the bubbles popping as they get too high, to really like emphasize, hey, this is where you guys are at right now. You are nowhere near where you think you are. You guys are a little big for your britches. We're gonna settle you down real quick.
Yeah.
And just watching Luffy like scream and go at one point, like try to go towards Kuma. Like I couldn't save them. I couldn't save one of my friends. Now that being said, Kuma, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. Also, whoever decided that the last one of the crew to basically vanish in front of Luffy and have the longest vanishing sequence to be Robin, fuck you in particular. We just got her back.
It was... Yeah, Luffy going like, I can't save one of my friends. And I'm watching that, like, he's not asking for the world. He's just like, I can't save one of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, he couldn't, like, if Chopper was small, maybe he could have, like, launched Chopper. Like, Chopper might break an arm or something, but, you know, like, he could get him away. And it's like, none of that happens. And
it's kind of uncomfortable to watch, just Luffy just on the floor like that.
Because he just starts, and like when everyone vanishes, he's just on the ground, like writhing, and like he is so unconsolable. He is just crying. He's like trying to like have a temper tantrum, but like and the anguish is so well done. The voice actor captures it so well.
Yeah. And
like just all of his motions of just like, he cannot comprehend what's going on to him were so well articulated. And right before all this happens, like I think either Sanji or Zoro vanishes, and Kuma gets between Kizure and Silvers and whispers something to Silvers, and Silvers makes a face, which to me was like don't worry, I'm not going to kill them, but we need them out of here. And then, you know, proceeds to just dismantle the Straw Hats. Like, the fact that Kuma's a warlord of the sea, and at this point, I'm like, oh, he is... he's a warlord of the sea, but even among the warlords of the sea, like, Moria's not really anything. Or, like, maybe he was something, but like you said, he was the Dark Luffy timeline of, like, we got beat somewhere and stayed there. And, you know, Crocodile was strong, but he was a politician. He wasn't the fighter that I'm hoping like Don Flamingo is, or whatever Kuma is at this point, because he's also insane.
And then you have a few others that you haven't met yet. Still.
Yeah.
I guess you have met Blackbeard, because he's a warlord right now.
Oh, he is a warlord. Yes, I've met Blackbeard 3 times. But yeah, and the thing between this, like, we have before this, like, we've had some fights with Luffy that like really show where he is compared to a couple other, like when Kobe comes back, you know, he gets put down pretty quickly by Luffy. we get to watch Luffy beat Moria. Luffy like kind of have to like Jojo battle his way
Mm-hmm.
through Crocodile.
Yeah.
But then
I
was it
remember
Baramy?
Rob Lucci actually like beats Luffy like the first time they meet on Water 7. It's just that when it's time for the rematch at Enies Lobby, Luffy then like is able to stand toe to toe with him.
Yeah, like yeah, we get to see him take on Rob Lucci, and uh, he starts breaking out some gears and showing that he's learned some things.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, like we saw Bellamy, who was set up to be this insanely strong pirate, and
Gets downed in
Luffy
one
like
hit.
Luffy doesn't even use a power on him. He spends most of his time on his like 6 hour thing being like, oh, I'm gonna go chase this rhinoceros beetle, look how cool it is.
Yeah.
And we get to the end of the Sabody arc, and it's like, and for me, like, so to let you guys know, I finished this like a week before this podcast started.
Right.
And so like I've been sitting here like not going into the next arc, which I'm going to immediately proceed to do the second you and I hop off this call.
Good.
To figure out what happens. And light spoilers, does this happen again? Like, has this happened since you've been called up to it?
So, as in, like, the Straw Hats get separated again for, like, more than, like, for, like, a good amount of time, basically.
Or they get beat this bad?
They get beat this bad. I wouldn't say they get. I think this is the worst they've ever gotten their asses handed to them, personally. There are a few other times where they do get, like, their asses handed to them. This isn't like oh, this is their low point, but after this, they're good. It is a case of they still have, like, a long way to go,
Mm-hmm.
but we still. I think this is, like, the most devastating, like, ass beating that they get.
And I do like that. You're right. It took all of them to take down one Kuma, and he
Mm.
wasn't even a real one. The real one shows up and shows that the ones that they were fighting aren't even like on his level. Like they seem
Yeah.
terrifying, but they're really not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's this arc explaining all of the like nonsense that is like you're right, recontextualize the world, because it's like all
Mm-hmm.
these people, no, they were part of like Gold D. Rogers' crew. They are all like heroes of their own version of their story, and they're just like, hey, we already did all that, we're just now gonna relax and chill.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gold Roger being like, all right, we did it, we're done, I'm gonna go, like I'm dying, so, like I can't stop from dying, so I'm now gonna go like turn myself in, you guys all go live a good lives, do what you want.
Mm-hmm. Rayleigh
Like
go meet a hot woman in a bar and marry her.
you know what, if I met Shocky in a bar and I wasn't already married, I'd be hard pressed not to do the same. She looks like the kind of woman that'd keep me in line. But yeah.
Fair. Yeah, Sabody is really good. It's really good. Just like
And that
it starts off. It honestly does show you like how varied One Piece is, because you have like the beginning of the arc, which is one of the funniest things like One Piece has ever done. I would say that even right now. And then you get to the end of the arc, and it's like one of the most devastating things One Piece has ever done. And nobody even dies.
yeah,
I said it
I
before, like in the Discord, but like I started like watching this arc like mid 2020, and it hit me like kind of hard. Just kind of like the time that it was and everything like surrounding it. It kind of hits hard. I think it still hits hard, even if I like watched it now, but it's so good. Like, the separation anxiety was real at the end.
I can't. I guess this would be so hard for me to. Uh, this would be so hard for me. I think to try to get through. Like if I had watched this when it was coming out, right? Not and like like doing this, like even being like, hey, don't watch ahead. Like I want to sit with this for a minute of like, even though I know things continue, the finality of all the imagery, all the symbolism of like, because this one starts out like, hey, we all like the cut of your jib. We all think you're really cool. We all think you got something special. And it's like, and then like the recontextualization of who these people are that are like, I like the cut of your jib. And then just like at the very end, it's like, it doesn't matter who like the cut of your jib. Like, you are not where you think you are. And I know this one is the Summit War arc. So the next one we have is Amazon Lily
and
then Impel Down.
That's
Are we doing those?
We're doing those two together.
Okay.
I think it would just work best that way. And then part 3 of the Summit War saga of these episodes is going to be Marine Forward and post-war.
Okay.
That's how I'm
and then
it.
I'm taking a look real quick here. So, it looks like final arc right now from what I'm looking at is Egghead and now Elbaf. I don't know what that means.
Elbaf's our current arc for both the manga and anime.
It currently says so. I'm just so you guys know, when I'm doing this to make sure that I have my story straight.
Actually, no, the anime isn't on Elbaf yet. My bad.
Yeah, I'm on anti-fandom, so that way I can see, I can like keep up with where we're at and also like know where to stop watching because Crunchyroll doesn't always tell me that. But so next is Amazon Lily and Impel Down, which will probably come out along the same time as hopefully when we're doing G Gundam, because I'm also I think I'm in the same spot as you with that. Like I might be a couple episodes ahead.
You might be. I don't know.
But yeah, this is a great arc. I'm going to continue with my theory that the next arc is going to be a bit more of a pirate story. Maybe not in a traditional sense, but because of what little I know about Boa Hancock and the Amazonian island, as well as if any of you guys out there have ever read the Arabian Nights Sinbad or the Odyssey, both of those are very very big with like Amazonians and things like that. So I guess Mark, like leaving questions here. I know we're running 2 hours, and these are probably going to start to get a little bit longer. Is like we try to summarize it and talk about how good it is. How do you rate this arc compared to a lot of the earlier arcs in the series?
I think this is one of the best arcs in like the first half of One Piece. I still think that like Water 7 and Enies Lobby, that's still like my number one. I think it's kind of unfair to ask for anything to top it. But I think that Sabody is kind of, even though it's short, because like even though we spent 2 hours here, it's not that many episodes compared to like Alabasta, Skypiea, Thriller Bark. But I think it is kind of like in the same league just on its own. I think it's so good of an arc. So good.
The fact that they took this very short arc and now it kind of changes the way you have to think about the first, you know, let's think Logtown. Like you have to like rethink of Logtown. You have to rethink of like the fight with Buggy, Reverse Mountain. like all of that kind of
Shanks'
gets
introduction.
changed. Yeah, Shanks, like now all of these people, it's like who I
Mhm.
think it's going to be, I think it's absolutely stellar the fact that this very quick arc like goes like, hey, these guys are really cool, here are some other really cool guys, and then it immediately goes to like recontextualizing
Mhm.
this world.
Right.
So yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Mhm. Well, also expanding on it because we still have those 11 supernovas, and
Yes,
you're gonna see them come back. Just gonna put that out there. I'm pretty sure
I'm
all
very
of them
excited for
like
them.
get. They're all at the very least involved with an arc like that you have yet to see.
I can't wait for that.
Hmm.
I'm very excited. I'm actually going to go upstairs like right as soon as we finish this, um, and and probably start Amazon Lily just so I can like
Hmm.
no longer have the like anxiety that's like eating a hole in my chest
Yeah,
for this.
and
Um,
also
but
make sure your wife like is nicer to Luffy.
yeah. I'm gonna, like I said, the goal is gonna be when they. I don't think I could. She's like, I'm not gonna watch 1,000 episodes, and
Hmm.
then she's like, you read all the Harry Potter and you did all this, and I'm like, yeah, like hush up, but um, I will when One Piece Brotherhood comes out,
Yeah.
um, One Piece Brotherhood, but the
Mhm.
D at the end of Brotherhood is capital. Um, it has a period behind it,
Mhm.
comes out, my goal is to get her to try to watch that. But winners, thank you guys so much for hanging out
Mhm.
with us. If you enjoy this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can check Mark and I back here probably in a couple months for either G Gundam or Amazon Lily / Impel Down for this.
Mhm.
Mark, what do you have going on?
Uh, I'm just sort of like living my life right now, but I am on Blue Sky at Chainsaw Mark, and I'm also on Twitter at Organization13. Personally, just follow me on Blue Sky right now because I think by the time this episode comes out, I should be doing like a daily drawing challenge where I'm gonna be basically drawing every day and like posting to Blue Sky a lot more because I do want to post there more. So
It's
yeah,
so
follow
much
me on
healthier
there.
and better.
Yeah.
It's so much hell. I'm on that almost. That's I still use Twitter for the fact that like
You get
everyone's still on
more
Twitter,
engagement.
but I immediately jump right over to Blue Sky and
I
watch
just
that
want to see the
instead.
Twitter ship sink. I want to be there when it's fucking unusable. Which I
Yeah,
kind of got that yesterday because at a certain point my feed just would not load, and I'm just like, "Am I free? Am I free from here?" And then it
yeah.
like came back
I'm
up, and I'm like, "Ah, well, at least there's still memes here."
yeah. There's still something for the time being.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah.
yeah.
I will make sure that there, of course, will be links to that as always in the bottom of this.
Hmm.
But yeah, thank you so much again, Mark, for one turning me on to the whole of One Piece and then being willing to talk
Thank
about it
you.
for 2 hours afterwards.
And thank you for introducing me to G Gundam.
You know what?
I'm just gonna say that in advance.
I hope that you enjoy the jaunt. It's a good summary of like most Gundam plots, but
Hmm.
there when you want to get into it in earnest and you're like, all right, I'm ready to start tackling Gundam. I know you're like, hey, I want to watch them like in order. Um,
Hmm.
I might be like, hey, like watch these three, and I'll give you some other like smatterings
Right.
of like not that they're not fun, but like if you want to see a really cool take on it, watch this one. Like I would say, if you watch the original movie and then turned around and watched G-Quux, you would
Hmm.
have a really fun time with it. It's great.
Okay. Yeah, because I do hear
Um,
like a lot of good shit about like bunch, a bunch of the like the Gundam animes. Just like
yeah,
out of like, because I know it's like I know if you probably like put every episode next to each other, like regardless of which Gundam series, it probably like turns out to be like way more than One Piece. But also like because there's like 20 series, it's not like you can as easily just like go into one probably. Whereas with One Piece, it's just like, start from episode 1 and go from there.
Yeah. 1058.
Oh!
Over 43 series. Yeah.
Okay, so that's like almost One Piece.
Yeah.
One
There's
Piece
also
if you cut out all the
OVAs
fillers,
and things like that.
probably.
All the filler goes away. Remember that you're all winners out there. Keep it weird, and have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Bye.